A very good afternoon to all the viewers. Welcome back to another episode of BW People HR Voices. Today we have with us Mr. Sreekanth K Arimanithaya, the Global Talent and Enablement Services Leader at EY Global Delivery Services. He also leads the talent transformation and is also part of the EY Global Diversity and Inclusiveness Steering Committee, the Global Talent Leadership at EY, and the GDS Executive Committee. He has over 30 years of experience and is well versed in talent integration, leadership development, HR shared services, HR analytics, and change management. He has previously served at DXC, Britannia Industries, CA Technologies, Toyota, Philips, and General Electrics. Firstly, welcome, Mr. Sreekanth. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
So for all the viewers, today Mr. Sreekanth is going to shed light upon how to customize the employee journeys using the advanced technologies. Specifically, we'll talk about generative AI in today's world. So Mr. Sreekanth, I would like to know from you, how do you think the generative AI technology has transformed the employee life cycle starting from recruitment to offboarding? How has it impacted that?
Yeah, I think if you really look at the HR today, is itself transformed. As I mentioned, I have 30 years of experience, but I have seen HR from a simple common sense to science today has evolved, and digital technology and data science have played a significant role in this transformation.
Right.
And with the digital technology, we call it as mass personalization of employee experience is possible, and also able to provide customer grade experience to employees with the digital technology. When I say customer grade, today employees are treated as customers of talent and customers of organization. So the mass personalization and customer grade experience are the key concepts today. We use it in terms of employee experience, as well as how do you really personalize these employee experiences. And every individual is different. Every individual have their own needs and wants. So how do you really personalize employee experience is another very important thing today digital technology plays. So right from ERP applications, then we have blockchain, metaverse, data science to understand the employee pattern of expectations have been really reimagined the talent world. But Gen AI is going to exponentially, not incrementally, exponentially going to change employee experience. The reason is it can really accelerate the concept of customer grade and take into the next level of experience for employees. It can also mass personalization, we can do it through Gen AI.
Right.
So we need to really understand what Gen AI and why it is different from legacy applications or ERP or even with metaverse. Gen AI have a huge capability to really understand unstructured data and discrete data or intangible data. Today, many of the employee experience, when you personalize it and when you create a customer grade experience, the unstructured data where earlier technology were not able to crack it. Today, Gen AI can do it.
Right.
To give an example, the employee emotions in any conversation, a lot of technology could not decode it. Today, Gen AI can decode when you reach a contact center, either through a chatbot or through a call center. If the Gen AI enabled solution can really understand the emotional aspect of employees much, Gen AI can really understand the unstructured data, and also it can process unstructured data or discrete data or intangible data much more faster and in accurate way. The example is when an employee take a contact center call, or when employee put a case or a resolution issue in the tool today, Gen AI can understand the employee emotions much sharper than any other technology. The second one, if you really look at Gen AI, can process all kind of formats of data, whether it's a video data, audio data, or a picture, or a sentence, or a Word document. It can process this data faster and more accurately and reach to some conclusion.
Right.
So the employee experience, right from candidate to onboarding to various stages of employee experience, whether it's annual appraisal, whether it's a compensation discussion with a manager, or a skilling discussion with a manager, or day-to-day coaching, this Gen AI tool can make it much more meaningful, much more insightful, and enhance the entire experience. We can talk a little more details as we get into the conversation.
Right, right. I think you've very well given an overview about how generative AI has allowed us to hyper customize the experiences for employees. Well, talking along the lines of generative AI itself, how do you think the data-driven insights that we get from using these technologies, how has it streamlined the HR operations, or has it automated a lot of HR operations? Can you shed some light upon that?
Yeah. So I always debate with my employees and customers as well as with external forums. Recently, I did an HRD conference on Gen AI. But one thing we need to really understand, don't use Gen AI for any incremental experience or improvements.
Okay.
Use Gen AI for exponential improvements or experiences.
Right.
So I feel Gen AI can do 2-3 things when I say exponential. One, for example, the sourcing use cases today we have. Some companies are using Gen AI as a co-pilot for sourcing. That means it will help me to source better. But I will argue Gen AI should be used to change the way we source today. How do we source today? We source through agency, we source through job boards, we source through employee referrals. So Gen AI have a capability to, while it source, it have a capability to screen candidates. So for example, you as a hiring manager asking me to give resumes. Earlier, I used to give hundreds of resumes. And the criteria for a successful sourcer is number of resumes he or she produces for a position. Today, the sourcer is defined a number of candidate whom I can select one. I may get only 10 candidates or 5 candidates. Within that, I may be able to select one. So the sourcing and screening has merged today. When as a sourcer, I need to screen, don't give all the candidates to me, give me the candidate fits my bill or fits my job description or expectation. So that's how I say that the sourcing and screening has merged and it has changed the way we source. The second example in sourcing experience is today, most of the agency or portal or direct sourcing my sources come from passive, not come from passive candidate, come from active candidate in the marketplace. But when you source an active candidate in marketplace, that active candidate is so demandful, he or she already have a job in pocket. He or she come to the table to negotiate better. With the Gen AI, I can source passive candidate who are not in the marketplace available in normal job boards or other social media. So it will give market intelligence of such people where my sourcing team can go again through a generative-led personalized branding and personalize the communication and convince the candidate that I know you are not in the job boards, you are not looking for a job, but I found you suitable for my requirements, hence you should join. These are the two use cases I always tell in terms of sourcing. Then another use cases is, normally we want the best fit for every position, 100% fit in profile. Right. But Gen AI related sourcing can give you, which is adjacency skills. May not be 100% fit today, but that person can be, with a little training, make it 100% fit. So I call it as creating abundance. Earlier job market, we offered on scarcity. You have 10 resumes in one city, 10 companies chase that 10 resumes. Because these are stereotype resumes, these are very active job seekers in the market. But think of a situation I can capture passive job seekers or a passive candidate and also adjacency skills, then I create abundance. So Gen AI focus on creating abundance of resources, abundance of opportunity, rather than working on traditional way of employer branding, as well as sourcing, which is creating on a scarcity. So that's on the recruitment. I'll take one more example in the later part of the employee life cycle. Today, if you really look at the employee experience across the life cycle, is governed by center of excellence, like recruitment is a center of excellence. Then you have compensation, you have employee training and development, performance management, leadership. You have a lot of centers of excellence who manages the employee life cycle. And each one doesn't talk to other. They only deliver what they are supposed to deliver in that center of excellences. But generative AI cut through the centers of excellence and make the flow of information and flow of experience through employees. Through that, I can improve customer experience. To give an example, the way we are looking at today is productivity of employees, performance, rewards, and wellness as one chunk, which we need to look at. But traditionally, these four areas I mentioned, like performance management, productivity, and rewards and recognition, and wellness, are four COEs. Now we are looking at generative AI can be integrated. So when I look at productivity, I'm also understanding performance of employee from productivity lens of an employee. Once I look at productivity and performance, I need to decide what's the rewards I need to give to him through annual increments or promotions. When I look at productivity and performance, I'm also understanding employees' wellness or work-life integration. So the generative AI integrate disparate talent process, or COEs, which is today a silo approach. It will cut through and create a flow of employee experience to employees. So I can keep going. I think 2 examples I narrated. The bottom line is, don't look at Gen AI to do any incremental automation. For that, we have other technology like RPAs and code or no code automation. But use this to really transform the employee experience exponentially, not incrementally.
Right. I completely agree with you. I think we can say that the dashboards have now transformed into insight boards with generative AI, as well as with people analytics that's coming into the space. Now let's come to employee experiences, which we were speaking about earlier. What are some of the KPIs, or let's say metrics, that help you evaluate these experiences using this technology? And have you witnessed a transformation, or let's say a change in terms of the traditional practices, and now when Gen AI, Meta has come into the space, is there any difference?
Yeah. First of all, we need to definitely understand the employee experience as an intangible asset of an organization, like leadership, culture, skills, can create exponential value to the organization. So the starting point for me is your ability to correlate employee experience to customer experience and monetize the value chain of employee experience and customer experience. That's very, very important. So today, a lot of organizations celebrate and have 90% employee feel they're positive about their experience and they celebrate. But you need to understand what it means to customer, because employee experience and customer experience is a value chain. And if we can really stitch it well, it can really create a lot of value to the enterprise in terms of greater revenue, lesser cost in advertisement and sales promotion, because engaged and happy customers do themselves customer references, and they can really help more customers to you through customer references. Employee experience and customer experience are correlated. I read a very interesting book called Ultimate Question 2.0. It recommends the one and only measurement an organization do is customer advocacy. It also recommends and shows the correlation between employee experience and customer experience. Wherever you have customer experience is bad, you find employee experience also bad. Wherever you have high degree of customer experience, you feel employee experience also positive. Then when it comes to employee experiences, you need to really understand not all levers of experience are vital for employees and organization. Some of the things are table stake. That means it doesn't create a greater value. If it is not there, employee will definitely be unhappy. So we need to really understand in the employee experience chain, which is a table stake today, because everybody does it. You can't differentiate. as an organization in the marketplace. You need to just to do it. And then pick up 2-3 experiences which will be a unique value proposition for that organization, and focus on that and provide that experience extraordinary and differentiate yourself with the competition, and use that to attract more candidates, retain more candidates, and use that to drive greater customer value proposition. For example, one organization can say that my USP, others are table stake, the benefits program, the compensation program. My USP is I want to develop future leaders within. For them, the leadership development related experience is need to be unique. I don't want to throw names of the companies here. I worked in companies where we say we are a leadership development factory. People come there because they recognize that, they stay there because they experience that. So another company is saying that I am known for skilling people. So that is the unique experience. I want to do it. Here people get multi-skill experiences. They get rotated between multiple projects, multiple domain and multiple function. So there they use skilling and job rotation as an unique experience employee go through it. Another organization I know, they really say, my unique value proposition is high performing teams. Here people come, they experience the performance management system and associated benefits employee gets in terms of compensation growth. And they say that we are a high performing organization and we differentiate people performance, and best people get more paid than average people. So there people go, if you are aspiring to learn and contribute and make a difference, you know that you get recognized. So my hypothesis, there are table stake experiences which you have to do it. That doesn't differentiate you. That's a table stake. Understand 2 or 3 things which you want to get differentiated. Then comes, how can I leverage AI or generative AI to do that? For example, if you are looking at skilling and learning, today there are a lot of generative AI use cases available in the marketplace. How do we use generative AI to identify adjacency skills? How do you skill people? And how can you create co-pilot for every employee as a learning assistant? How can we scientifically skill people and ensure that the skill get monetized? So Gen AI give you a phenomenal capability to reskill, cross-skill, upskill people at scale.
Right.
Similarly, I can give example leadership performance management today, Gen AI. So to sum up, identify a differentiated approach and invest in that rather than a commodity experience, which is a table stake. I don't think much differentiation can be done. You need to be doing that so that people don't feel that you don't have, but it doesn't give you a competitive advantage.
Right. I agree with you completely, but we've spoken about the advantages in terms of how employees can enable career growth, leadership, succession roles with generative AI. But what about the challenges? Have you faced any challenges in implementing generative AI? Because when we talk about skilling, we have also seen that in the industry, when an organization implement these processes, the employees, it takes time for them, or it's a little difficult for them to adapt how to use generative AI in general, or how to use these technologies. So what could be some of the challenges?
Yeah, I'll classify challenges into 3 areas.
Right.
The first challenge is, how do you really integrate Gen AI technology into your existing digital landscape, whether it's success factors or Oracle Fusion, whatever it may be, your ERP. Nowadays, a lot of this ERP also coming with their own AI in the platform of ERP. Then a lot of you have legacy application outside success factors. Then now Gen AI, blockchain, metaverse. So how do you really stitch all these technologies and really get the data clean, which is the foundation for a good Gen AI program? If you don't have clean data, no Gen AI program will work, because Gen AI is on the data. It is not on the work definition and workload. It is in the data. So a lot of organizations are struggling to get their data strategy right. And you only can get your data strategy right when you have an integrated application and digital layer.
Hmm.
After the application layer is the data layer. Below the application layer is the process layer. And above the data layer is the Gen AI layer. Then above that is the experience layer. So how do you get this a bigger challenge? Second challenge is the mindset and adoption of the users is going to be very big. I have seen any technology implementation which give incremental change, people will resist. This is exponential change. This is going to disrupt the way people think. This is going to disrupt the recruitment industry. This is going to disrupt the HR technology industry. It is going to disrupt the HR industry itself.
Hmm.
So people will resist. This is really questioning the fundamental existence of some roles of HR, fundamental existence of certain type of leaders or people managers in the industry. So it have huge resistance from users. In fact, I was addressing as a keynote speaker on Gen A, one of the conferences. My God, the people resist, and
Hmm.
people even try to accept if Gen A is there, it's not correct. They keep on arguing on the third area, which I'm going to address. First, I said integrated technology and data, mindset. Third one is, of course, there are challenges on bias of the system, the ethical existence of a Gen AI. Second one is the fear of personal data getting exposed or vulnerable.
Hmm.
Last one is the transparency and accountability. Who is going to take the decision? Earlier, I remember the people manager or the counselors say that, what can I do? HR has told me to do it. But I believe you are much more worth than HR, what they think about you. So they
Hmm.
always blame somebody saying that's not my decision. I'm only a messenger here. The decision on you is taken by manager or HR. Now, people want to have, now they will tell, what can I do? The AI took the decision saying that you are a bottom performer. My algorithm of AI shows that you are a bottom performer. Or my algorithm shows that you are not right fit for the job. Or my algorithm shows that you should get only 4% increase. Will you blame the Gen AI tool, or will you take the accountability for that decision? For example, if self-driven car meet with an accident in US, the accountability is to the driver. But in some other countries, you can sue the product or the manufacturer of this. So my biggest worry in HR, the accountability on people decisions, the hiring managers, the people managers will not own it. They said, I got a recommendation from AI engine and I am only an implementer. So the transparency and accountability will be another challenge. So three challenges: integration of digital technology and data science is very crucial for successful AI implementation. The mindset of people saying that it is not real, their willingness to accept it. Third one is the accountability and transparency, and the bias and ethical AI related issues what we are confronting. But all
Right.
things can be solved. I'm not telling this cannot be an excuse. All things has to be solved. The organization who uses this as an opportunity to solve it, they are going to be the differentiators.
Right. So another such challenge that comes to my mind when you've mentioned the layers and we talk about the data layer is also data privacy concerns that come with these advanced technologies, right? We're with advancing technologies, we're also seeing the number of breaches and the data crimes that are happening is also increasing significantly. How do
Absolutely.
you maintain a balance between using these advanced technologies along with safeguarding the employee data at the organization?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what a lot of organizations are debating. Whenever you buy any AI product, there are a lot of AI product is going to come into the market. Today itself, if you Google it, you have AI product for everything, or Gen AI product for everything. So when you select an AI product, involve your cybersecurity or infosec, your risk and compliance team, your data privacy team, to really do a proper due diligence. It's so important. That's why a lot of organizations slowing down because they are not getting comfort. And a lot of countries will come up with laws which will prevent certain type of products and applications in Gen A deployment. So absolutely involve all the stakeholders. Don't get too excited and too hurried to implement it. Get your entire ecosystem of lawyers, GCO, cybersecurity, infosec, data privacy team get involved to ensure that the product is safer. Second one is there are areas Gen AI doesn't require too much due diligence because this doesn't take the personal data. For example, recruitment. Recruitment is not personal data. My resume is in LinkedIn. My resume is social media, including my date of birth. Some people put it in certain countries, which certain countries not allowed. So wherever recruitment, I don't think huge violation of personal data, which already a matured industry with thanks to social media and job boards. So you can implement it. But when you get implement this on a compensation program or on a payroll program, where you have your bank details, your home addresses and everything, little careful, you need to do it. So there are areas you need not worry. It's safe. Recruitment is one area, it's safe. But as you penetrate closer to employee life cycle, where you have employee personal data, like I mentioned, health records, bank accounts, house addresses, all these things you need to be little careful to validate that. It's real. Don't neglect. The product has already solved it. Some people has not solved it. That's the reason a lot of experimentation in bank. It's a fantastic adoption of Gen AI, but most of the banks are scared about data privacy. That's the reason they're slowing down. There are a lot of use cases. It can exponentially create greater value for bank customers, but they're going slow.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Sreekanth. Any last piece of advice for our viewers? They're mostly HR professionals, employees. What could be your last piece of advice to them?
Yeah, there are. I've seen as any technology evolve in HR world, there are two types of career is emerging. The type A and type B. Type A is you can move into core A Gen AI technology. Like if you remember when Success Factors or SAP or Oracle or PeopleSoft or JD Edward came into existence, a lot of HR people went and learned SAP and become configurators, ABAP developers, kind of thing. I remember my ex-colleagues went and did that. Then they become expert on that particular technology. So around 7 to 8 jobs, new jobs are evolving, like prompt engineer, ethical AI developer, ethical AI storyteller. Like this, 7 to 8 jobs are emerging. If you are passionate, you can choose one of the jobs and move into that career. That means you are moving away from core HR. Nothing wrong. Some of you may like it. Second, type B are the people, they continue to stay in HR, functions, recruitment, comm, generalist, CHRO, but they want to use AI to transform their function. The second, I was like that, when ERP or big data analytics, everything, or even metaverse, everything, I stayed in HR as a CHRO, but I adopted and implemented and transformed the HR function that I called as type B. And there is no type C. So if you are not in type A or type B, you need to be worried. So I always say that Gen AI will not replace jobs. People with the Gen AI knowledge and who know how to implement will replace people who don't know how to use Gen AI and who are not using Gen AI in their current job will be replaced. So that's my advice. It's another great opportunity. Look at exponential transformation using Gen AI. Don't settle down with incremental. It's very costly. You'll not get return on investment. Embrace it. It's real.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sreekanth, for sharing your personal experiences, your expertise with all the viewers and with us. Thank you once again. It was a pleasure having you on our show. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.